All right, guys, so I got the newest housing data from the Florida Association of Realtors for the entire state of Florida. We're going to take a look at that today, single family and condos. I don't think the condo numbers are going to surprise anybody at this point, but the single family ones are a little interesting for the state as a whole, seeing our really first meaningful price declines year over year that I've seen on a state level at this point. So we'll just jump right in, and then, we'll go over a few other things as well. But for closed sales, the state of Florida, this is single family homes, saw a 4.5% drop year over year for the month of April. Now, some of you guys know we get these stats in arrears. So this is as of the end of April. It's going to be June when I put this out. So we're technically lagging a month behind. But I will tell you again, in my office, as I told you for April, we might break another record sales month here. And it's not that way for every office, but it seems like our office is probably going to set another record for sales volume, a number of transactions and total volume closed, which in a declining market, you would not expect, especially 2 months in a row. So kind of a strong season. Charlotte County, surrounding areas, other places, not so much, but we're rocking and rolling. With that being said, the median sales price of single family homes in Florida fell 4% year over year, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but I've never seen it fall that much statewide. The average only inching down negative 0.6%. But we're looking at single family homes from a state level that for years haven't declined at all, or were very, very minuscule year over year. So it's interesting if that's going to be the start of a trend here as we come out of season. These stats are still in our season. But like I said, coming through the summer, I'd like to know what the summer months are going to look like year over year. But still, interesting numbers nonetheless. Now, the active listings on the market in the state is up almost 33% year over year, sitting at 117,000 single family homes listed in the state of Florida. And every time I throw that stat out there, guys, I do caution, because in 2008, I think it was like 240,000 single family homes. So we have a ways to go on the listings. This statewide seems more of like a normalization than a massive correction to me right now, but who knows what it evolves into, because we have 5.6 months of inventory statewide, which is another number we have not seen in a very long time. I mean, last year, that's up from basically 4.1 months last year. So we're getting very close on a state level to what they would consider a balanced market. It's coming out of a seller's market and balancing out. Once you get near 6 months of inventory, they consider that, the Florida Association at least, a balanced market. And really quickly, guys, if you find this content entertaining, I would really appreciate if you could hit that like button, maybe leave me a comment below, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out immensely, and we'll get right back to the video. Moving on to the condo and townhome data, sales down 14.8% year over year as of the end of April. That's a big drop, but it's par for the course here in Florida right now with all the challenges that condos have going for them, the new laws, the new assessments, the structural integrity studies, the structural reserve studies. I mean, you name it, and the insurance debacles. So not surprised to see sales fall. Listings up 34% year over year. We got about 78,000 condos and townhomes listed across the state, causing the prices to fall to the median, negative 6%, to the average, negative 3.2% year over year. So not a enormous drop. And actually, the median's kind of in line with what single family housing has seen. And while the listings are up, the closed sales are way down, but the pending sales, stuff that went under contract in April, is also way down 18%. So what that does is basically drives the month supply of inventory through the roof, which is our measure of demand. They have 10.3 months of inventory for condos and townhomes across the state currently. And like I told you guys, 5 to 6 months is balanced. This is way buyer's market territory. It's very, very, very high. I actually haven't seen that kind of supply for condos and townhomes outside of counties like Charlotte or Collier. So to see the whole state hit 10 months, it's just a sign of the times. So as you guys know, I cover a lot of Southwest Florida, generally not anything outside of that. I will take a look at Tampa and Miami and Orlando and just kind of different segments like that, larger metro MSAs to get a bead on everything that's going on there. But statewide, I mean, those kind of numbers were unheard of. Last year, the year before, it's what was happening in Southwest Florida. That's how it's like very slowly, then all at once. You know, we were seeing 4% median price declines here. We were seeing months of inventory make jumps like we're seeing statewide, and it went ignored. And I felt like this could quickly spread to the rest of the state, and starting to look like that's what's happening. So it's very area specific. There are still plenty of areas, guys, where the prices are going up and there's not a lot of inventory. And some of the more affordable areas are still very competitive, but it's interesting to see everything fanning out. And I told you, the thing is, it really only takes one person in your neighborhood to crush the comps. That's all it's going to take is one person that's like, I'm done, I'm selling, don't care about everybody else's home values. And a few videos back, I showed you guys a home in Burnt Store Isles that had slashed like $230,000 off of its price tag in the matter of 90 days and sold. And a lot of the comments on that were, oh, the kids must have got it. They don't care. It went to the heirs. They just fire saled it. Maybe there was something wrong with it. Well, one, we don't know any of that. Two, even if that is true, it doesn't matter. That's your new comparable in your neighborhood. It doesn't matter why they did what they did in 90% of the cases. That's the new comp. So, you know, it just takes one person. And that's what happened to a lot of these condo complexes. A lot of condo owners said, hey, I just want to get out of here. I'm selling for whatever. Boom. Just takes one. So it's, you know, the reasoning doesn't really matter. It's the numbers at the end of the day. That's usually what an appraiser is going to look at. I don't think the appraiser is going to call every single person and ask exactly what happened there, nor do I think it will make much of a difference. Numbers are numbers, and that's how it goes, unfortunately. And it's the same thing for the builders, guys. They're doing the same thing. Like I've mentioned, they're battling each other. They want to put a stranglehold on the market and basically only have to face off with other builders. And they're becoming very successful in doing that. Even the smaller builders, it's happening too. There were so many small builders that came here right during the boom, right after the boom. And I don't know, just thought everything was going to keep going up like everybody else did. And now they're finding that they've got to basically sell out the rest of their inventory and stop building because they're not going to be able to get the prices that they thought they could obtain. And two, they're not going to be able to compete with the big guys. And I actually just had this conversation with a friend of the channel who is purchasing a new build from a smaller builder. I've been pleasantly surprised by the quality of this smaller builder, and they were nice enough. We did the final walkthrough today, actually, to show up and do the walkthrough with us, which is big. So they got everything addressed for the most part that the buyer wanted. It was a good transaction. And the buyer says to me, you think I'm getting a good deal here? And honestly, I really, really did. I still do. I mean, you're talking over 2,000 square feet, brand new house, 12-foot ceilings, all hurricane impact windows, tile throughout, paver pool, saltwater pool. This thing's 3-car garage, done to the nines. And, you know, we didn't pick it up what they were asking, but they got it for $550. And I said to the guy, I said, this house in 2022 would have been $750. He said, no way, that's crazy. But that's the reality. And that is what the small builders are having to face as well. That house would have been up for $750. They probably would have got it, at least got $700,000 in my opinion. And now here we are, not even 3 years later, and we're looking at $550 to close it out at. So all of the builders came in, saw these other builders getting these ridiculous prices. They were throwing these houses up in sometimes a matter of months before the supply chain shortage, and they were making crazy amounts of money. So even when the supply chain issues were alleviated, we still had tons of builders coming in, buying up every lot, these small guys that they could get their hands on, slapping these houses up and thinking that they were going to get those prices still, and they got caught in a market downturn. And now they need to sell. So it's not just the big guys that are putting pressure on all the resale. it's the small builders as well. And I mean, when I say small builders, I mean guys who have like 30, 40 houses in the area. So that you've really got to price resale to outcompete these right now. It's it's becoming very, very difficult. And this is just kind of a funny one-off that I came across. I was on Facebook, and I don't know how I stumbled into an Inglewood social group. I think it's spun out of the Buc-ee's. Like, everyone's losing their mind about Buc-ee's now. They're like, we don't want it. And it's too late. They approved it. You know, it's, who knows if it comes in, though. Buc-ee's still has to do their due diligence and, you know, figure out if they're going to go that route. But the Buc-ee's has sent people here, Buc-ee's in Deep Creek, into a spiral. 50-50 split on it. So, again, I have no opinion, never been to one. But I dropped into a group that posted it. I saw it come up, and it was an Inglewood group where you can put things for sale and things like that. And I noticed that all 9 of the featured things that they were selling were properties. Look at this. Look at this. Everything on the front page is a house or a rental. So there's no lawnmower, nothing. No cars, nothing. It's all homes. Everybody's trying to, and I mean, I don't know if they even work in those groups. I don't put listings and stuff in there. Maybe they do. But that struck me as crazy to see every single highlighted thing for sale was a piece of real estate. I'm coming through here again, walking past some non-traditional Florida homes here. As you can see, there's one right behind me, but there is a really cool one coming up right here. And this is, you know, you just don't see stuff like this. Nice metal roof. We got the hurricane protection. We got the oak trees. Check it out. Got a front porch here. Turnaround driveway. I love when people build stuff like out of the box like that. And you will see a lot of these in this area. Generally, between, I want to say, Quesada and Veterans in Port Charlotte, you'll see sort of more unique houses like that. Like even right here, we got a 2-story with a balcony. So always fun to check those out. Got another unique house here. Kind of a standard Florida situation, but nice detached garage back there. That's pretty cool. So just like walking around, seeing different types of architecture. It's nice when it's not the same house over and over and over again. So, well, guys, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, maybe comment below, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.